Welcome back, and today we're playing out the Key 109, and as you saw by the intro, this thing is made to shoot down all the bombers, and because we always fly everything by its intended role, that's exactly what we're gonna do today. Which channel do you think you're watching right now? Of course we're gonna fly this thing as an air superiority fighter, and actually have a decent amount of success. Now keep in mind this thing is 2.0, so most of your enemies are kind of flying like this. If you come from the clouds, if you come from behind, most of the people aren't really gonna see you. And by the time you pull the pants down, they have already been penetrated. So yes, of course, it's a little bit skewed. If you fight good players, this thing is not gonna be all that. But it's 2.0, it's RRB, so you don't really have to worry about that all too much. Now you will run into your P39 and your Heinkel 100 here and there. But that's just the name of the game, and in War Thunder you're not always allowed to choose your matchup. But it is offset by the fact that you can shove shells the size of that pilot directly into the engine block. And it's a good amount of fun. But don't forget that this thing is based off the Key 67 heavy bomber, and it definitely flies like one. Now it does feel a bit lighter, it climbs okay, but it is pretty unwieldy, and even though it is based off the heavy bomber, you only have the tail gunner in terms of defensive armament. And yes, it does hit decently okay at this BR, but it's not the best. It's only one gun, and it's kind of annoying to get on target because it's one of those that has to rotate before it can actually aim. So it's a little bit delayed, it feels like playing on 6000 ping. But it gets the job done, and you really aren't playing this thing to be effective. You're playing this thing to bully people at low tier. And this is the ethical way of shield clubbing, because you are fighting these level 12s, except you are handicapping yourself and in a way evening the playing field. Now Razor here is missing all his rounds after I did. Luckily this round definitely didn't. Now we're gonna look at a full game, and this is the third game I did in the plane, so forgive my aim other than on this Focke-Wulf 200, because we are about to send him to the Shadow Realm. Take aim, click, and back to the hangar he goes. And that's probably one of my furthest kills, and that's the third shot I ever took in this plane. So it felt pretty satisfying. I thought, well, if it's that easy, we're gonna have a mighty good time. Unfortunately, I was mistaken. I still had a pretty good time, but my aim is very much hit or miss with this thing, as with every cannon, because you either hit or you miss. But sometimes you just hit every round in a game, and then another game you miss all 15 rounds on one guy that doesn't even see you and is borderline stalling out. But this game right here is not about my aim, it's about kind of bait and switching, energy fighting, and overall just having a good time in this thing. This was a pretty funny game. We have 3 Key 109s in our game. And what we're gonna do is simply run trains on these people. Now the Heinkel 112 of course has absolutely zero engine power, so what do? I go vertical and try to stall him out. Now he does turn decently well, so I do want to be careful of that, but if I get him slow enough I should be able to just kind of pull in and shoot him down that way. Now in this example he pulled a little bit too vertical, he kind of killed himself doing so, and that's kind of why it threw me off. But I have to not forget that we are fighting people at 2.0, so they are gonna do stupid things. And that's completely okay. You just have to be anticipating it. It's very hard to anticipate someone that doesn't know what they're doing themselves, but you know, you kind of just have to deal with it. Heinkel 112 here rolls out of the way, going like 2 kilometers an hour. I am not able to get the gun on target. This guy is stalled out. Am I going to hit? Of course I won't. I just missed a guy going 2 kilometers an hour. And as I said, this is my third game, so I have no idea where the gun is going just yet. That shot on the Focke-Wulf 200 was very much a good amount of luck. But we merge, we dive in, we use our speed to go back up, and this Heinkel 112 is not going to have the energy to pitch up for us, so I'm not really worried. I just want to make sure that I pull out of his guns a little bit, just to make the shot a little bit harder, so that I can come in and shoot him down when I come back down on top of him. Now he gets hit by the Key 27, but the Key 27 of course only has that, well, the 8mm, and they do absolutely no damage. Am I going to lock in? The answer is no, because this thing is such a boat. You're gonna have a hard time to hit people if they try to keep their speed up. So we try to get the shot, we're not able to, we break off, we go vertical, and we run the train from the first station again. We come from above, and this guy, he still doesn't have engine power, so I just have to drop back down on him. But then I noticed the P36, and I don't want to go for the guy below me, because if he dies on me, I'm gonna be absolutely boned. Now this guy is not looking very hot, and it looks like his tail is actually missing. I miss my shots anyway, so it doesn't matter. And I'm not sure if this guy is dead or not, because he seems to be kind of flopping around. It seems like he is somewhat okay, but at the same time it looked like he had no tail whatsoever. I can't tell anymore, but he's diving out, so it doesn't really matter either. And the Heinkel 112s are still below us, and I have them energy trapped, funnily enough. We go up over his nose, we get him like over the 90 degrees, so he has to do a full turn over the 90 degree mark basically, and it's absolutely draining. And then I'm able to drop back down. Now the other Heinkel 112 is going to give me the easiest shot in the world, and that is one that even I won't miss in this thing. We make a pass, we go back vertical, and we are going to sit above the Heinkel 112 again, because that's all we have been doing this entire game, and that's all I will be doing this entire game. He pitches back up for us, try to keep our distance, and then when he starts stalling out a little bit, we're going to pitch in with the flaps, because the turn rate is actually kind of okay. They did strip a lot of weight out of this thing, I believe, but unfortunately I'm not really able to get my gun on target, and I miss another shot. And at this point we start compressing quite badly, we're going 600, but that also means that I have all the energy in the world to simply go vertical and run another train on him. We don't go straight up just yet, because if we do that we will definitely lose more speed than him. So we go a little bit horizontal, try to get our distance, and then we can go vertical again. Now he is at about 1 kilometer, but I'm really not too scared of him because he still doesn't have engine power. And that is something I will say every time I get above this guy, because the Heinkel 112 is simply extremely weak. And that's the fun thing about fighting people in those planes, in a plane like this, because your plane actually has the capability to do something even though I am severely handicapped. I try to get in here, but he rolls to the wrong direction, pulls directly into my gun, and we turn his pilot into red mist. And that is Mr. Heinkel 112 back to the hangar. And here is the last guy of the enemy team, it's the A36. Now the A36 just killed the I-16, and he now has a Hurricane on his 6. But I of course am kind of thirsty for that kill. But then he comes head on with us, and the head on is something that I don't particularly like in this thing. Luckily he actually breaks off. I'm not sure what the Hurricane is doing. Hurricane is kind of just flying parallel to him. Ripjaw takes the 50 cals directly to the forehead, gets itself shot on fire, and now the A36 is locked in with a dogfight. Now, I'm honestly not too scared of this plane, but it's the same thing as with the SM-79, where you're not really able to get your gun on target whatsoever. Now this guy breaks off a little bit to go for a shot on the Hurricane, which actually turns out great for us, because now we have the position, and then he starts chasing the Hurricane. Now I think that this guy just thinks that I'm a heavy bomber, and that he can just completely ignore me, and for the most part he is correct, except that this bomber doesn't drop bombs, instead it shoots them at enemy planes. So he does want to be careful that I don't end up tapping my elevator key and turn him into a smoothie. Now the issue is when you play with multiple people that are playing the same plane, especially when you have better aim than you, well, they end up yoinking your shit just before you shoot. But I can't really complain, considering he will help us out throughout this match quite a decent amount, but I'm going to complain anyway. Fuck you, Razor, if you're actually watching this. We merge with the MiG-3 Burger King. We can't really shoot at him because we are compressing a little bit, and this thing is just a massive boat. But the MiG-3 is a plane that I kind of want to dogfight, because, well, yes, it has pretty good energy. It doesn't really turn the best, and most of the people aren't really good enough at this BR to leverage the engine power. So I'm gonna try to just get behind him and see if I can shoot him down. Now our turn is somewhat comparable. I almost got the shot there, but he rolls out of the way. After that I'm not gonna stick, he's going down, I'm gonna compress. He also has someone else on the 6, so I just break off and go into the clouds. And clouds are really annoying in this thing. I mean, they are annoying in any plane, but in this plane in particular, because you do have to set up. You can't really react last second, you have to kind of plan 2 moves in advance. You can't really do that with clouds, but at the same time you also have the ability to sneak up on other people sometimes, where they just don't even dodge at all, and they don't even see you, and get the easiest shot in the world. The issue is that you need other people to spot the planes for you, and in this case the Burger King is simply out of energy, is not able to get his nose on target just quick enough. So we are able to get underneath him, and then we should be able to just pitch in and shoot him, but we see another MiG-3 who is going after Razor. He is super slow, he's completely tunnel visioned, no idea that I'm there. Shoot over his shoulder, probably blow out his eardrums, still doesn't react, so we just decide to kind of mercy kill him. That is MiG-3 down, the other MiG-3 is being ran down by Ripjaws in the clouds, and now we are completely uncontested again and can kind of do whatever we want. Of course, Mysterious Valley is always mysterious because it's littered with clouds, which is a bit of a shame, but as long as these guys stay spotted by our teammates, we should be able to do something with it. We dive back in, Lag 3, MiG-3, not really scared of either, and we have the energy advantage. Kind of lose this guy in the clouds, but if we zoom out we can actually see him again. Gives us a fat little broadside, and I'm still not able to get the nose on target, simply because I'm bad. That is not about the plane, that wasn't the nose control, I just didn't position it properly, and I very easily could have killed him right there. Now we do lose him in the clouds somewhat, but I dropped the flaps here to kind of decrease my turning radius. I'm going down, I'm picking up some speed, so the temporary boost doesn't really screw me over in the long run. Of course, I do want to be careful, but he gets spotted again at about 900 meters, and I don't think he actually knows that I'm there. He starts turning into the opposite direction, loses a lot of speed again, and we aren't able to get the nose in just in time. But we do have the energy here, so we should be able to just go up. This guy goes straight for a little bit, gives us some position, making it even easier for us to actually stall him out. So we roll back over, get directly on top of him, and at this point this man is completely stalled out, and Razor is unfortunately going to miss the shot. But it doesn't really matter, because just like his previous Russian buddy, he's just gonna tunnel vision on Razor and give me the easiest shot in the world. Now this time we're not even gonna blow out his eardrums, I'm instantly gonna go to blowing out his back. This guy is making it extremely easy, and just like that, blap, directly up his ass. And then we float into the middle of the map, and we nose an FRF in his natural habitat on the deck with the 0 speed. So we are gonna just slide in and get some revenge from Nagasaki by dropping the fat man directly up his cockpit. We scream, yeah buddy, and send him to the Shadow Realm. That's gonna be kill number 3, and then the P400 comes in from the left. Now initially it's not really a dangerous plane, but he does have some speed on him, and the airframe is still kind of okay despite the engine not outputting any power. Now he has this wing vapor on one wing, nice coating gaijin. We just kind of slide in behind him, try to get some revenge from Hiroshima in the meantime by dropping the little boy directly up his asshole. The issue is that, well, I missed the first shot, I missed the second shot, and then we take quite a bit of time to line up the third one, and I'm not sure if I missed or he dodged, but in the end of the day I didn't hit him, so it's a skill issue. I'm not entirely sure what this guy is doing, but I think he just feels very guilty for the bombs and decides that I get to get my revenge. We turn around, we kind of slide into his flight path, and boom goes the dynamite, or rather boom goes the plutonium in this case. We then wrap up this video by probably the saddest fight of the year. Well, after the P-63 fight that I had with the SM-79, but this one comes pretty damn close. We get behind the Heinkel 100, he sees us last second, and he goes into these kind of loops. So what do is we kind of keep our speed. We don't want to go too vertical, but I do want to go somewhat vertical because I need to go to my optimal speed, which is about 350, 300. So I actually have a decent turning circle. I still have some energy, and I'm able to kind of just sit behind this guy by overusing the flaps. Now of course I'm using the flaps a lot because I'm in a heavy bomber basically. You don't really need flaps in this kind of fight. If you're flying a fighter, it will actually hinder you in the long run. But in this case, because I'm flying such a brick, it's all about the position. Now he turns the wrong direction here, which kind of gives me an angle, but I'm not able to capitalize on it because, well, it's still a single engine fighter and I have some trouble getting my gun on target. Now I almost get it here, but I just don't have the AOA here to finish the job. He's gonna start throttle dropping me and I'm gonna try to do the same thing. So instead of trying to stick behind him and rolling with him, I will just break off and go a little bit vertical. Now he's probably gonna turn this into a head-on, so I do want to be careful of that. So I'm instantly already kind of going sideways. Just make the shot a little bit harder. He doesn't really have the energy set up for the stall shot, and we are able to do so by going straight vertical here. Don't overuse the flaps in this position, however. But the second we start going up and we have the position and I notice that he is about to stall out, I do want to flip on over as quick as possible. So we should be able to get the shot right here, and he does the smart thing and he breaks off. Which is unfortunate because I will never catch this guy in a million years. The thing is, he doesn't know that and he starts turning. Now we have pretty good position here, so we kind of go up, we drop the throttle for some extra position, we start going on the web again, and now we are firmly planted on this guy 6. He's not really able to dive away anymore. He's gonna try to do so anyway by turning his plane into a lawnmower. Pretty successful at it, but at this point I just want to get a singular hit in, because after your engine is dead, if I get a singular hit, you get severed. And just like that, we have the fight of the century. And that's essentially all I have for you today. Thank you all for watching, and you'll see me in the next one.